Hi, this is Joe Miller from Pray for Pensacola, and I want to speak to you just a few minutes on the power of change. Listen, the only thing that is constant in life is change. Change is here to stay. Every morning that you wake up, something is going to be different tomorrow. The stock markets in Europe just went up. What does that mean? That means your interest rate of your variable home equity loan just changed because the value of the dollar just decreased relative to the value of the euro. Your life has changed. Maybe tomorrow a relative of yours found out that they have cancer. What does that mean? It means your life and the life of your friend has changed. Maybe a friend of yours was in a car accident yesterday. What does that mean? It means your life has changed. Every single day your life has changed. Maybe your job is in jeopardy. What does that mean? That means change has come to your home. The only thing constant in your life really is change. And I can assure you this one thing, that change is not pleasant, it's not kind. It's a hard taskmaster, and it tries to push you around wherever it feels like pushing you. It does not treat you kindly. But what I want to tell you is this. This is out of the book of Lamentations. It says this, because of the Lord's great mercies, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is his faithfulness. Why am I saying this to you? Because every single morning you need God's mercies in your life in order to accommodate change. Listen, this is what I want to get to. Even though change is a harsh taskmaster, it's a harsh taskmaster to those people who don't understand its power, who don't understand that it's actually a tool or a weapon in your hand given to you and designed by God to administrate the kingdom on earth. Because change is a constant. It never goes away. That means people who understand how to drive it, how to push it, how to control it, actually have more available power on this earth than the people who don't. Change is the most powerful tool for getting your life and the lives of others closer to God. Let me repeat that. Change is the most powerful tool for getting your life and the lives of others closer to God. Change is a tool designed by God himself to administrate his kingdom. Look at it this way. Are you lost in sin? Then repent and God will change you or allow you to be changed. Are you always late for work? Then change the time on your alarm clock and wake up earlier. You have the power to do that. Are you overweight? Then change with a diet. Are you not being paid enough? Then change by getting an education. Do you have a bad attitude? Then change your attitude. Listen, you can control things that happen in your life, number one, by changing yourself. Most of us are pushed around by change, but it doesn't have to be like that. What I just mentioned are some very basic day-to-day problems, but let's look at a bigger picture. Mother Teresa changed the way the modern church looks at ministry by taking a vow of poverty and beginning to work with the poorest of the poor in India. She made a conscious decision to control something, and she administrated change and made this earth more valuable to those in need in India. Martin Luther King Jr. changed the way that the U.S. looked upon race and race relations in the U.S. by showing us that men are all created equal. Not just on a constitution, not just on a piece of paper, but he actually showed us that we need to live and act as if all men are created equal. Bono from the rock group U2 is changing the way we look at AIDS and poverty in developing nations. He's making us aware that there are still poor people in this world. There are still people in hurting situations and in difficult nations. Listen, here's the bottom line. Change is a weapon in the hand of a powerful leader. A good preacher of a church will affect the lives of many people at one service, and that's good. A good pastor will affect the lives of many people that are members of his church over a period of time. But this is where you and I come into play. A wise leader, meaning you, will affect change in the lives of multiple generations if you learn how to use change as a tool. What I'd like to ask you to do as we prepare for 40 days of prayer and fasting in this city is, number one, ask God to speak to you about your role in this city as a leader. And yes, if you're watching this video, you are a leader. God has a place for you to lead people in this city. It may be your neighbor, it may be a co-worker, but he has a very specific place to see you lead in the city. Ask him to speak to you about your role. Ask him to give you insight on what is your place And what can you do to affect change in the city? Jesus said this, you are the salt of this world. In other words, act like salt. Bring flavor to the community you live in. Number two, what I'd like to ask you to do is begin to pray for the city, to pray for this region. Do you really believe that if you pray that the murder rate in the city would drop, that it will? We need to believe that it can and that it will, that we can pray the murder rate down, that we can pray drugs out of our city, that we can pray that the students graduating high school in this city would be greater than where it is now. Only 75% of high school students graduate in Escambia County. We need to see that go to 80% by next year, and then 85, and then 90, and then 95. We can pray that because we have the power if you recognize that change is in your hands. Number three, the last thing I'd like to ask you to do is get involved. Register and participate and Pray for Pensacola's 40 days of prayer and fasting. Send emails to your governmental leaders and tell them, I am a part of this 40-day fast, and I am praying for you. Send an email to Mike Wiggins. Send an email to Grover Robinson on the Escambia County Commissioners. Send an email to David Morgan, the new sheriff. Send an email and tell these men and tell these women out there that you are praying for them. Affect change. Let them know that you stand behind what they're doing. And I'd like to just ask you to basically recognize that your prayers, your time of fasting, will begin to change the city that we live in. Thank you.